What's going on, everybody? It's Yap MMA. I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be breaking down and recapping UFC Fight Night Tampa. Great card last night. Great card to end off the year. A lot of fantastic finishes in this card. Late round finishes, super unexpected, and nasty finishes. I'm not gonna lie, very nasty finishes. We'll start it off. We'll start off with Josephine Knuckson versus Pierre Rodriguez. I went with Josephine. I didn't follow the number one MMA, women's MMA rule. Um, Always pick the woman who looks like a man. Always pick the woman that looks like a man. Solid win by Pierre Rodriguez. She gets it done by unanimous decision. I picked Josephine. I thought she'd be able to keep the range. But Pierre put on the pace. She pushed the pace for the whole fight. Landed the cleaner strikes and mixed in the wrestling. So pretty good performance by her. Yeah, first fight of the night. Usually an upset, to be honest. Yeah, bad pick on my part, but we'll move on to Davy Grant versus Ramon Tavares. This was an interesting fight. Very, very 50-50 on the odds. Like very, very close. And I gave the edge to Ramon Tavares. But yeah, Davy Grant got it by a unanimous decision. I think the experience kicked in, honestly. First round, Ramon Tavares was doing pretty good, but second and third, Davy Grant kind of took over. He started landing the better shots, pushing with the offensive grappling, and he was really taking the fight to Tavares, getting himself a unanimous decision. Good for David Grant. He's lost to some good guys, but he beats guys like this every day of the week. So good for David Grant. Good win for him. Moving on, Miranda Maverick versus Jamie Lynn Horth. I picked Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick won by unanimous decision. But I did think that Jamie Lynn Horth did have a chance to win this fight. If she was able to use her size, to get Miranda Maverick to the ground. But funnily enough, Maverick was able to push the pace and she was able to grapple Jamie Lynn Horth throughout this fight. So, and she was a much smaller woman. So good on her. Good win by her. Sucks to see another Canadian lose again, but it was kind of expected. Miranda Maverick's very good, very well rounded, and it's a good win by her. Moving on, this one it starts to get interesting. This is one of the more exciting fights, I thought. There was no finish in this fight, but it was Miles John versus Felipe Lima. It was back and forth, and Felipe Lima almost had the finish so many times. In the third round, he was going for the rear naked choke. He had it wrapped up for a second. Then John moved, and then he'd wrap it up again, and then he'd move, and it was back and forth. It was really, really close to finishing. Lima almost finished Miles John, sorry, but wasn't able to get it done. But it was a good fight. Felipe Lima won by decision. Pretty dominant performance. It was pretty expected. He's definitely a prospect, very good prospect at what are they at? They're at featherweight. I think usually Lima is a bantamweight, so I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be staying in featherweight or if he's going to be going back down to bantamweight. But he looked good at featherweight, so he's got options there if he wants to if he wants to stay at featherweight or go down to bantamweight. I mean, he looked good in both divisions, so we'll see what happens. But we move on to Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. First finish of the night by Sean Woodson, round one TKO. Very nice finish. These are both super super duper lengthy, long, tall guys. At featherweight, both of them are standing at 6'1", 6'2". And Sean Woodson had a bit of a height advantage, but both these guys are above 6 foot at 145, which is ridiculous. I have no idea how they make 145. I have zero idea how they make 145, but it was a great fight for the amount of time that it lasted. Um, Sean Woodson, he pushed the pace, he landed the better shots. I thought this was kind of a 50-50, to be honest, because Fernando Padilla is very good. But Sean Woodson's consistent, and when he's up against a guy his size, he knows he has the striking advantage. And he was just able to land the better shots. He knocked him out with a right hook, left hook, and then a right hook again, dropped him, and landed some ground and pound to finish off the fight. Very nice performance by Sean Woodson. And, he's looking pretty good at featherweight, man. He could definitely be in the search for a ranked opponent in the next, I would say next two fights, honestly. Give him one more opponent outside the rankings. And if he wins that in a good fashion, give him a shot at the rankings, man. But we'll move on to the next fight. This was a fight I was very, very excited for. Joel Alvarez versus Drakkar Close. I knew there would be a finish in this fight. I was definitely hoping Joel Alvarez would get it done, and he did get it done. Got it done by KO in the first. Dominant knockout. It was pretty expected. 21 fights or 21 wins, 21 finishes. Joel Alvarez is a problem at lightweight, man. He's a problem at lightweight. And he's another Spanish prospect for them. The UFC got to be hyped about this. They can bring the UFC to Spain now. If they get Joel Alvarez ranked, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be good, man. I'm excited to see more of him. Eventually, maybe we could see a Joel Alvarez Arman Sarukian rematch. That would be pretty cool. But he had a dominant win over Drakkar Close. He threw some hooks, and then he went in. And once he pushed Close up against the fence, Drakkar against the fence. I mean, he landed a nice flying knee, which hurt Drakkar bad. And then he landed some follow up shots to finish the fight. So it was a very nice knockout. Pretty easy stuff for Joel Alvarez, man. Get this guy in the rankings. That's all I gotta say. But we'll move on to the first performance bonus of the night, which was Michael Johnson versus Otman Azaitar. I thought Otman Azaitar could get this done. Honestly, thought Michael Johnson, nearing the end of his career. I didn't think he had really too much left or any knockout power really left, but man, he's got a nasty right hook. He's got a nasty right hook. Slept Otman Azaitar bad. Slept him bad. Nasty knockout by Michael Johnson. Great to see him back in the win column, man. Um, just great win by him. Great win by him. Azaitar was coming in. He was throwing big shots, swinging at Michael Johnson. Johnson backed up and landed a nice check right. Was just slept Ottman. And the follow-up shots were nasty. Like, Johnson did not have to land those follow-up shots. Azaitar was completely unconscious on the canvas, and he landed two nasty ground and pound shots. It was unnecessary, but nasty finish by Michael Johnson. Definitely deserved the bonus. And yeah, man, I think Ottman's career might be over in the UFC. That's 3 knockout losses back to back to back. I thought maybe he'd be able to bounce back in this one. But Michael Johnson's still here, man. Great performance by him. And we'll move on to the main card, where we got Navajo Sterling versus Tuco Tokos. I chose Navajo Sterling. He looked great in his Dana White Contender Series fight, and Tuco Tokos really hasn't showed much. It was a pretty boring fight in my opinion, but Navajo Sterling's good. He's very good. Wasn't able to find the finish. He did win by unanimous decision. I knew he'd win, but I did think he could find the finish on Tuco Tokos. Nonetheless, though, Navajo Sterling looked good. Tuco Tokos, he kind of seems like just a guy that maybe will break people into the UFC, like coming off Dana White Contender Series. He can be kind of a guy that just, free win a little bit. I don't know if they'll keep him around or not, but we'll see. Good fight nonetheless. We'll move on to Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. This was very close. This was a very close fight. I would say this was the closest fight on the card. Split decision win for Daniel Marcos, but I think Adrian Yanez did a bit more damage and landed the cleaner shots. But Daniel Marcos's pressure is very good, and he swayed the judges in that aspect. So Daniel Marcos gets it done. Decent fight. I would have liked to see maybe a finish out of this one, but because Daniel Marcos is a guy, like I said, when I was breaking down this card, he's a guy who just wants to score the decision. He just wants to do every little thing that he can get, every little detail that he can get to sway the judges, and that's what he did here last night. So, good win by him nonetheless. He'll probably be searching for a ranked opponent somewhat soon if he has a good next performance. If he gets a nice finish in his next performance, he could be searching for a ranked opponent. So we'll see what happens with him. But good win by Daniel Marcos. Moving on to the next performance bonus of the night, Vitor Petrino versus Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby sleeps Vitor Petrino, man. Nasty, nasty knockout. Vitor Petrino's cooked, bro. He's cooked. Like, when he was on the come up, everybody was like, damn, he's a big, buff Brazilian. You can't really argue against that. Like, he's got the perfect aspects to be a nice light heavyweight like Alex Pereira. But the problem is he doesn't have the fundamentals. And Dustin Jacoby exposed that, man. Late round finish by Dustin Jacoby, sorry, in the third round. Vitor Petrino was through. I think he threw a left, or maybe I think it might have been a right. He threw a hook. Um, Dustin Jacoby dodged, and when Vitor Petrino's body was turned, Jacoby landed a nice straight right down the pipe, knocking Vitor out cold. He went face first on the canvas, and Dustin Jacoby landed one follow up shot, but it was a nasty knockout. Very, very nasty knockout. Well deserved performance bonus. And yeah, Vitor Petrino, man, back to back losses. Lost to Anthony Smith and now lost to Dustin Jacoby. Not looking too good, for his UFC career right now. Pretty bad losses back to back, I won't lie. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him in the future. But nice win by Dustin Jacoby, especially coming off that loss from Dominic Reyes. Very nice for him to get that knockout win, get back in the win column. So we'll move on to the following fight: Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. Nice win by Manel Kape. A little bit questionable. He did find the knockout over Bruno Silva. He landed a kick, which kind of it was a little bit close to Bruno Silva's cup, and it kind of looked like he nicked him on the cup, and it hurt Bruno Silva there, which was obviously an illegal shot. But the fight wasn't stopped, and Manel Kape he kept throwing hands, landing nice crisp right hands and left hands, and he injured Bruno Silva bad, so he dropped him up against the fence and finished him off. Um, you know, Questionable finish, but nice finish nonetheless. Manel Kape, he's a good fighter, but he called out Pantoja. He doesn't beat Pantoja, man. He does not beat Pantoja. He was styling on Bruno Silva, though. It was very nice. He was styling on him. He felt like the man there. If he had fought Makayev like he just fought Bruno Silva, I think he would have won. Way better fight than when he fought Makayev, though. So we'll give it to Manel Kape. Good win on him. Nice knockout. He's back in the win column, and he's going to be looking for a higher ranked opponent for sure. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, we had Cub Swanson versus Billy Quarantillo. I picked Billy Quarantillo, man. I thought Cub Swanson was too old, but my bad. My bad, Cub. My bad, bro. He's going out. He's finishing his career with a bang. Knocks out Billy Quarantillo out cold. Nasty finish. Left hook, straight right down the pipe. Knocks Quarantillo out. Bad. Nasty by Cub Swanson. Fight of the night for him. It was a back and forth battle all night. This was, I thought, maybe mid, like a little bit of a mid co-main, but hey, they threw hands. It was a great co-main event. Cub Swanson always brings a fight, and Billy Quarantillo, he throws hands, man. He's not scared. But he ate some nasty shots at the end of the third, and Cub Swanson finds the finish. Very nice finish by him. And he ends his career like that. I mean, he's 41 years old. He was able to get a nasty knockout in featherweight against a guy what is Billy Quarantillo? I think he's 30. Just beautiful knockout by Cub Swanson. Great way to end your career, man. Beautiful stuff. But we'll move on to the main event of the night. I predicted it. Buckley by knockout. Beautiful stuff. Shuts up Colby Covington. It was a doctor stoppage. Colby had a huge gash above his eye, but Buckley was beating him up the whole fight. If anything, the doctors helped him. They stopped it early rather than seeing Colby Covington get flatlined because Buckley was landing heavy shots. Colby's face was bloody. He was beaten, and it was battered, man. Joaquin Buckley dealt an immense amount of damage to Colby's face, and he got a dominant win, man. Put Buckley in, man. Put Buckley in. He also had a nice call out at the end of the fight. He did a little chant. He was like, "Who does the crowd want me to see?" He listed a few names. He listed Leon, Kamaru, and Bilal. It seemed like everybody wanted him to fight Kamaru. Kamaru was in the crowd as well. I think that's the matchup to make. The Nigerian Nightmare versus Numansa Buckley. That shit would be nice. That would be a good fight. I think Buckley takes it. I think Usman's out of his prime, obviously. So we'll see what happens. But great fight night to finish off the year. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you.